What's going on, guys? It's Rob Donovan here, and I know this video is a week late, but I wanted to give my brief thoughts and do a quick breakdown of all of the content that we have this season. I know I have done that to a certain extent with the previous video, where I broke down all the information Bungie released for season of the Chosen, but I wanted to do it now. I've had some time. I had a week to sit with the content and really get what Bungie were going for with this season. So I'm gonna have some video of the new Battlegrounds activity, the new seasonal activity playing in the background. I believe it is from the Behemoth Battlegrounds, and I know we do have a Battlegrounds coming out. It probably will be out by the time this video comes out, but I'll possibly do like not a reaction to it, but more I'll do a review of it, or when the more come out, I'll do a video of most of those towards the end of the season, I'm thinking. But for now, I'm going to give my opinion on the two we have, the one on Europa and the one on Nessos. We have the Devil's Lair strike. I haven't been able to play Fallen Saber yet because Bungie it's bugged. The new seasonal artifacts, the new battle pass, there's so much content. Oh, and all of the new weapons. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the new weapons. Quite frankly, I haven't memorized all their names yet. But there's a lot of loot to chase this season, and my god, is it a stark improvement over the season of the Hunt. There was one good one gun, the Deafening Whisper, to go after in the Wrathborn hunts. You have the Code Duello, the Far Future, you have the Extraordinary Rendition. You have so many, the Brass Knuckles, I believe that's what Brass Attacks. You have the Brass Attacks, new sidearm to go after. You have a bunch of different reprised weapons coming back. There's new Trials stuff, which I haven't been able to dive into Trials stuff because I don't really have a team to play with, but the new Trials armor looks good, and I've heard the new Messenger reprise from day one is amazing. There's new Iron Banner weapons coming out, I believe, next week. Oh, there's so much content this season, and just briefly, I want to say that this season, having as much content as it does, and having as much to do and as much loot as it does, proves that Bungie shouldn't, the seasonal structure, it works, but it doesn't work when Bungie have a major expansion coming out. Because look, we got Season of the Hunt and Beyond Light at the same time. Beyond Light had a decent amount of content. Season of the Hunt was basically devoid of content. Fast forward a few months later, we get Season of the Chosen. Season of the Chosen had a bunch of content to do. It has new stasis as fragment quests, so you can upgrade your stasis subclass, which I've done. The return of Umbral engrams, and a whole new system with the Hammer of Proving, where you have to focus the engrams and you have to do the new Battlegrounds activity to get the hammer charges. There's so much to be doing, and the seasonal loop this season, it just feels good. Going through and doing the different Battlegrounds, it never gets old. It's got enough challenge to it where you don't get bored of it, whereas the Wrathborn Hunt, you could go in, and yes, the bosses were damage-gated, but you could go in and within about a few minutes, you'd have your loot and you'd be done. One lost, yes, that's efficient. It's not fun, and it's not repeatable. Throughout Season of the Hunt, I literally only did the Wrathborn Hunts in order to get my Powerful and Pinnacle gear. Never touched them again after that. The Battlegrounds within this last week, I think I've done more Battlegrounds in this last week than I did for Wrathborn Hunts the entire season, and I know there are some people out there that do like the Wrathborn Hunts, but they just weren't substantial enough to be a seasonal activity. And I honestly think that of the limited experience of seasons, obviously I picked Destiny 2 up from Forsaken again after when Season of Rivals was out. So you had the Contact Public event, Wrathborn Hunts, and then Battlegrounds. And out of the three, the Battlegrounds is the most substantial content that I've experienced within the seasonal structure. And all I can really go is what I think, and I really do enjoy them. Having the Barrier Champions, the Overload Champions, and the Unstoppable Champions really makes you think about what loadouts you need to be going in with for these Battlegrounds. The boss being damage gated means you can't just one phase it, and the fact that the boss spawns in Barrier Champions and the different forms of champions means that you as a player team need to be prepared. Even though it's match made, you need to hope that your teammates are prepared enough so when you go into this boss fight, you can just get rid of the champion and continue damaging the boss as much as you can. And it really makes it interesting. And I think if it wasn't match made, this would be nowhere near as fun. And I think that is one of the reasons why the Wrathborn Hunt suffered as much, because they weren't match made. You just went in on your own and you did them, and that was it. Also with the battlegrounds, just how interactive they are. You do one step, and then you have to go to a different location on the map, and then do another thing, and then you do the boss fight. Whereas with the Wrathborn hunts, yeah, sure, you started the Wrathborn hunt, and then you followed the green goo along the floor and continued it. But once you got to the boss fight, it was just one arena, and the boss fight was so easily defeated, it was ridiculous. Whereas this feels fun, this feels good. And the rewards you get from them are good as well, because all of these guns have really good rolls, and I'm not the best person to go in and talk about what are the best rolls for these different guns. There are so many other different people making content on this game that could go out and tell you what rolls you want to be looking on for what gun. But I can just tell you how it feels for me, and it feels fantastic during this new activity. So I'm going to quickly touch on the new Devil's Lair Reprise Strike. Obviously it wasn't going to be any as difficult on base difficulty as it was in D2, because when you first do it in D2, you're underprepared, and that's what makes it so difficult. Whereas in D2, we've got 13 seasons worth of content. We're like almost 1300 power level. We have all of these good random rolls. We were always going to roll through this fight at that regular difficulty, but I think where this strike really shines is when you're doing it on the harder difficulties. Now, I've only experienced it up to the hero difficulty, because I don't have the fire team to go in and do it on my... I don't have the power level to go on my own. I don't have the fire team to go in and do it on the harder difficulties, but I can only imagine what that strike's going to be like on Grandmaster. So, difficulty is there. Anybody who's saying that there is no difficulty with this strike is possibly viewing the Devil's Lair with rose-tinted glasses, because the only reason that strike was as hard as it was because we had shit weapons. It's as simple as that. And we have so many better weapons in Destiny 2 than we ever did going into Devil's Lair for the first time in D1. So that is a quick touch on the Devil's Lair and the differences between D1 and D2. I like the additions of, obviously, with the harder difficulties in the Nightfall. You're going to have barrier champions. I like the addition of the new Fallen mech that was introduced in Beyond Light into the strike. Sepix is just as hard as I remember him being. Obviously, you can damage him a lot easier now, but the boss fight isn't easy. And if you're underprepared, you will get wiped in it. I haven't been wiped yet, but I've had plenty of times in that boss fight. So, now going into the new season pass. Now, the new season pass, obviously, how you originally got the new guns, but you can get them from the Battlegrounds activity now anyway, so I don't see the point in having such bad rolls on these new weapons, and that you can just get them from the Battlegrounds before even unlocking them in the Battle Pass. It used to be, obviously, with Season of Arrivals, you had to get up to a certain Battle Pass level, then you had the option to get better rolls from the Underworld engrams, but that's not the case anymore. So it just feels strange, and a strange way for Bungie to do it. But still, the new weapons are good. I'm glad that it's so easy to farm out rolls for them. It gives you something to chase, and yeah, I like the new rumble system, and the hammer approving and doing all the upgrades. That is going to take a substantial amount of time, and I wouldn't be willing to do it. But because the Battlegrounds activity is so good, and the new seasonal activity as well, you have seasonal challenges, like most free-to-play games have, so Apex or Fortnite, all of these different games, Battle Royales mostly, have daily challenges to help you with your season pass or your battle pass, and they've introduced them, and they feel so good to do, because you get a load of XP from it, and you're guaranteed a lot of Bright Dust at the end of the season if you do all of the challenges, so the reward is there. Because obviously you got some of the new seasonal cosmetics going to the Bright Dust store after a certain amount of time. You just have to be patient enough to wait. So they're giving you free ornaments here. Obviously we don't know what the new exotic quest is just yet, but it's a Tex Mechanica Scout Rifle, that's as much as we know, and it's going to be taking place on the Fallen ship that we see in the trailer that Osiris quotes as there not being any light there. So some people are speculating that it's Dreadnought, some people are speculating that it could be Callus's ship, and while I would like it to be Callus's ship, because obviously the new seasonal villain, Kato, is Callus's daughter, it would be interesting to see, like, we roll up into the ship, and like he finds out that his daughter has overtaken his empire, And there's kind of an interesting narrative angle to go there if they really wanted to, but I don't know if they will, because they seem to be going down the path of these different alien race factions approaching the Vanguard, and Zavala being the big tool leader that he is, he denies all of them and says, well, no, we're going to do it our way, and I have the feeling that will be the downfall of the Vanguard, possibly in Witch Queen, definitely going into Lightfall. I don't think the Vanguard are going to survive in the form that we see them at the moment. Speaking of Zavala, he has an interesting role within the story, and I'm still unsure if he truly knows who the Crow is. Obviously we had the one um cinematic where he sees Aldrin and is possibly hinting that he's haunted by the fact that he wasn't there to help Cade. Is possibly found the fact that Aldrin was actually there helping him against one of Kato's assassins. So there's a lot going on with Zavala in this season, which I think desperately needs more character. And the way Bungie are going about storytelling now, I have a feeling he's gonna get that. Hopefully we get more cutscenes going up throughout the season, and I'm really hoping that this new exotic quest is as good as Hawkman. I still haven't done Harbinger. It's really hard to do on my own, but hopefully now the seasonal power cap has gone up, and I have better weapons, it should be easy to do, but who knows? Going in and quickly talking about the seasonal artifact. Obviously we have Overload's SMG back, we have Antibarrier Sniper Rifle, Antibarrier Scout. There's a bunch of different stasis mods that are really good. And there is Unstoppable Pulse Rifle. Really, it helps, but I do miss my Antibarrier Pulse Rifle, especially because they brought back Outbreak Perfected this season. Oh my god. It would be down to Bungie to bring back probably that was my new favorite gun in the game. A gun I've been waiting for because I never got to finish the Zero Hour mission, and you bring it back, and then bang, Anti-Barrier is gone on pulse rifles, and now we have the new mods on pulse rifles, and yes, while Unstoppable Pulse is helpful, it's not the same. So yeah, those are my brief thoughts on the new Battlegrounds activity and the new strike and all of the new content. Briefly touching on the new bow as well. Tiku's Divination is cool. It's good. It's basically for the aimbot. You do a hip fire shot off, and then you do a scoping shot, and it forces into an explosion. Kind of like Dragonfly, kind of not. But it's really good. I really do enjoy it. I'm still working on the catalyst to get it done, but hopefully I'll get that done soon. So yeah, those were just my brief thoughts on new season as a whole. Let me know what you guys think of this new season. What are you enjoying about it? What don't you like so much about it? What are you looking forward to going into the season? And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let me know for any potential video ideas that you want to see going forward with this game or any other game you want me to cover. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!